Well, hello, and welcome back to that thing we like to call Curlis Mania, where we talk all things pop, rock, and prog. And before we do anything else and move on to any other topics for the day, I gotta welcome back to the channel, Mr. Logan Collins. How are you, Logan?
I'm great, Tom. Thank you for letting me be on this show again, and I'm ready to talk about what we're getting ready to talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, sometimes I'll say, "Hey, how was your day?" and people will say, "Better now," because we're about to talk about one of the all-time greats, and that would
Oh
be
yeah,
Thin Lizzy. And man, have I been chomping at the bit to do some Thin Lizzy. So this is like I'm so ready. So
yeah.
ready. Because I was kind of late to the, I gotta be honest, I was kind of late to the party with Thin Lizzy. It took me a while to kind of get into the whole discography. I mean, I knew Boys Are Back in Town, I knew Jailbreak, and I knew the single, I knew the big songs, but I didn't really get into Thin Lizzy until like a couple years ago, like the whole discography kind of thing.
Yeah.
Uh, and I was like, man, was I missing out? Like I just was, I don't know what I was, I don't know what the problem was. I just didn't, I don't know. I just never got on the train for some reason. And I'm really happy that I did, because man, it's kind of one of those bands you sort of discover later, and you're like, man, this is a great discovery. I'm so happy, you know.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we are here to talk about two classics from Thin Lizzy. We're doing Jailbreak. There we are. Both of us have the vinyl. And you check it out. Love the cover. Love the cover of that.
Jim
Uh,
Fitzpatrick, man.
what's that?
Jim Fitzpatrick.
That's
Did
right. That's
both,
right. That's
did
right.
both these covers.
Yeah, that's right. And so then, yeah, and then against Johnny the Fox, the next record, both 1976.
Oh
Can you
yeah.
believe that? Two records in 1 year. That's what they used to roll back in the 70s. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. They look so cool on the back.
Oh man. They look cool on the back of Jailbreak too.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Absolutely. Yeah, 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 absolutely. For sure.
I always like the little story on the bottom of Jailbreak too about Dimension Five and the Warrior and
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
all kind of
definitely. No,
sci-fi kind of deal.
very cool. Very, like, I love, like I said, I love the artwork for this. I still love.
Oh man.
Yeah, killing it, killing it. So, yeah, so we are here to talk about these two records that both released in the same year, and man, they're both gems. So it's just as we try to do on this channel, you try to pick two classics that are just make you sweat when you have to pick. So that's going to be the case tonight, I think. What do you think,
Yep.
Lo?
Coming down to the wire probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what's your yeah, exactly. It's going to be a game time call. So what's your last I have to ask you, what's your journey with Thin Lizzy? Like, when did you get really into Thin Lizzy? Do you remember?
um, the first time I heard Thin Lizzy was probably Metallica when they did the Whiskey in the Jar
Right.
cover from
Right.
'98 on the
Yes.
EP or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously that's an old Irish folk song, but that made me go back and want to listen to Thin Lizzy. But I got a vivid, and actually have the CD. I have a vivid memory of going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they had two best of CDs, and I bought both of them. One was Rush, and then the other one was I don't know how good it's gonna pop up. The definitive collection of Thin Lizzy.
Oh, nice. Okay. And that's a
You know,
two disc?
it's just one.
One.
There is one that's two,
All
but
right.
yeah, that just kind of set me off and running with Thin Lizzy, man.
That was it. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that CD is packed with great stuff.
Oh yeah, and but really, kind of funnily enough, there's only three songs from these albums,
Oh, hmm.
all the singles. But
Interesting.
you
Interesting.
know,
Okay.
you know,
All right. Cool.
but that was my
That's
big
great.
deep dive into Lizzy, the first go around, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's great. Awesome. Very, very cool. So yeah, let's jump in. So we got a lot to talk about. So let's start with Jailbreak, and I'll just do a quick rundown of it. So Jailbreak is their sixth studio record, so we're getting pretty deep in the catalog by this point.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
It was released March 26th in 1976 on Vertigo Records, which you can show. Oh, look at that. You have a see, I don't have that. Mine doesn't open. See, that's awesome.
Oh man, I love it. It's like a TV kind of.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look
that's
at the.
awesome.
Have you ever seen the artwork inside, Tom?
No, check, let me see it.
Check it out, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, it's
I've
awesome, man.
That is so cool. See, I've got the Mercury reissue that doesn't open up. That's yeah.
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 See, mine's on Vertigo. I'll show.
Yeah, show the label real quick. Yeah.
I don't know if that's. Yeah,
Nice.
it's pretty different compared to. This is a UK first pressing. I bought it off Discogs.
Wow. Wow.
So
Love it. That
I'm
is
proud of
killer.
having that, man.
That is killer. That is really killer. I love that. It's like my collector geek is coming out of me. I'm like, oh, I have to have that. Um, yeah, very cool. So yeah, so their sixth studio record was released March 26th in 1976 on Vertigo, as we just talked about. Recorded December 75 to February 76 at Ramport Studio in London. Produced by John Alcock. Um, it really was their commercial breakthrough in the US. I mean, I do remember grow when I was young. I think it was like, I mean, it was probably 10 or 11, hearing like Boys Are Back in Town and Jailbreak on the radio. So those were like radio songs in New York City at the time. So they were, and especially Boys Are Back in Town. That was like everywhere. I mean, that was a big song at the time.
Mhm.
Um, and I believe the other single they had on this was Running Back, which is kind of a mellower song, more
Yep.
commercial kind of song. And it was certified gold in the US. So that was like one of their biggest records, if not the big. I'm not sure if it was
I
their
think
biggest.
I think Tom, this is the only record that's certified for them in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
looking at it now, it's like, wow. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It doesn't seem right, does it?
What
Doesn't
were
seem,
we listening to in 1976?
yeah, it doesn't seem right. But it's been wrecked. I swear to God, and like time has treated them well. Like I think they've been, you know what I mean? Like maybe they didn't get their due at the time,
Yep.
but yeah, and from what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, they sort of the previous two records, Nightlife and Fighting, sort of underperformed, and I think Vertigo
Yeah.
was like, hey man, yeah,
Got fighting right here.
yeah, there you go,
Yeah.
nice, there you go. So, but they apparently like underperformed, and Vertigo was like, hey, you guys got to deliver, like this is your last chance or something like that. Is that
Sort
accurate?
of, probably sort of like what Mercury did with Rush, like with Caress of
Yes,
Steel, and
yeah,
yeah, this one has to have a hit, guys.
yeah, yeah.
Which
Caress of,
might be the reason for some commercial songs on here. Which I don't blame them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
You gotta try and have hits, man.
sort of throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks kind of thing, you know?
Yep.
So yeah, so let's dive into the record. I mean side one starts out with Jailbreak, and I mean, I've heard this song so much and I just never get sick of it. What's your take on it?
Yep, I agree with you, Tom. I mean, it's just an all-time classic. It deserves all the accolades and legendary status it gets. I mean, and it was a concert staple for the guys.
Yeah.
Um, probably one of their biggest concert openers. Besides, they did a song on Live and Dangerous called "Are You Ready," which they would use for introduction songs in concerts. Besides this one, but yeah, I just love that big, like right out the gate, man. That big power chord and the drum crash hit. Oh man, and then that killer riff comes in. Um, and I always said, man, Lizzy's lyrics, or well, Phil's lyrics, and the songwriting, the guitar playing, and everything, it always just gels perfectly with this band.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
love that bridge section. With the breakout when he says breakout and
Break
it
out.
riff. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And the sirens going off and
Yeah.
stuff, and just
Yeah.
that great ascending guitar line that builds up. And I wrote down there's gonna be some Phil poetry in this episode. So
Yeah.
I got the last little stanza. He says, "Searchlight on my trail. Tonight's the night all systems fail. Hey you good looking female, come here." I mean, that's just awesome, man. And
It
the
is
way
awesome.
Phil,
It is
wrote
awesome.
it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a perfect song to me. And, I think this really builds upon what the band was doing on Fighting the Nightlife, like you said. Um, I think Phil kind of comes into his own here as a frontman, though. I think this record really cements like how he wants to lead vocally for the rest of the career and everything. I think this is the album. But
Mhm.
yeah, just a great opening song, man.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, no, I love when I'm always a sucker for that middle, that breakdown when he goes and then the sirens go and you're like, oh yeah. It's like so killer. So killer. So yeah, so then the next one is Angel from the Coast, which is kind of a different sort of a little bit of a left turn after Jailbreak. What's your take on that one?
Um, this one's kind of I thought there was a little bit of funk to it, a little bit, kind of
Yes.
in that riff.
Yep.
Um, yeah, like the main riff of the Tomb, simplistic. You know, but the chorus section and the interplay between Gorham and Robinson are really in fine form, I think, on this song. There's some great twin leads, which kind of was in Jailbreak the song, but this one's really where it shows a little bit more. Yeah, and I think Brian Downey really shows off, man. Some great drum fills in the last little section before the solos. What a
Yeah.
drummer, man. He is an underlooked drummer too.
He is.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a monster, man. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's another winner to me. Angel from the Coast. It's a great
Yeah,
one.
I'm with you. I'm giving thumbs up for Angel from the Coast. I love that. Ticka, 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 bam. Like you said, it's kind of funky. It's kind of like they show a little bit more of that on the next record, which we'll talk about. But
Yep.
they kind
Yep.
of have a little funk, and man, the guitar tones are so great. They're just so good. Like man, they just sounds the Robertson and Gorham together. They just sound so great. And like you said,
Magic, man. Them
it
two
is.
together.
There's something about it. Yeah. So they just yeah, they really mesh, like you said, they really mesh well together. Um
Oh yeah.
yeah, so yeah. Then we get to Running Back, which is we talked about as one of the it might have been the first single. I can't remember if I read that correctly, but
Um, yeah, I wrote down a little bit about that one. It was supposed to be the lead single before the boys are back in town, but they went with the boys are back in town instead. But this song did have kind of a different arrangement and stuff, um, kind of more guitar orientated. But then they wanted to go with a more commercial kind of sound, probably for the label. So they kind of added piano and saxophone, and I wrote down Phil quoted saying this song was influenced by Van Morrison, which when you hear that, it makes total sense. It sounds like a Van Morrison kind of styled song.
it
Um,
kind of does. Really makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean it's a great track. I mean it's catchy, man. Love the guitar line in it. It's a little simplistic, but it works for what it does. Oh, and I want to say, I think Robertson doesn't play on this. I think it's just Gorham on this one
Is
because I
it?
think he kind of helped build the original track. Which Tom, I don't know if you know about the '76 box set that just came out a couple of weeks back or months back. They did like a little box set.
Hmm.
Um, well, I shouldn't say little because it's probably pretty massive, but it's got like combinations between Jailbreak and Johnny the Fox and all the demos and all the outtakes and all that kind
Oh,
of thing. So the
nice.
original version of Running Back's on there, and you can listen to it on YouTube. And it's kind of more guitar orientated. There's no piano, no saxophone. So I think
Mhm.
Robertson wanted it like that, but Phil and John Alcock kind of wanted to go the other way. So he got a little mad about that.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it seemed like Robertson could
yeah,
definitely
that's
get
great
a
tuning,
little.
man.
Yeah, I think Robertson can get a little bit like on occasion. It seemed like he could get he would get upset about things and he would throw his lot in and say like, "Oh, this is what we should do." So good for him. I mean, he was passionate about the band, you know.
Yeah,
So, um, so yeah, so I could see him being like, "Oh, what are we doing? Like, why are we changing the arrangement? What's going on? What's happening?" Um, But and then one, another one of my highlights for this record, Romeo and the Lonely Girl. I love this. I love the chorus on this. That, oh, poor Romeo. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, only Phil could make Romeo and Lone or Onio work.
Yes.
You
Right.
know?
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah. Just love the lyrics on this one, kind of spinning the classic Romeo and Juliet tale. Romeo being a down and out type character, it's like a lost love kind of situation. He leaves the girl, but she finds somebody already,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
just classic Phil lyrics, man. I mean, he's one of my favorite lyricists of rock and roll. Just the
Yep.
way he did it, man. I mean, nobody else really did it like he did to me.
Hmm.
Um, I love the leads in this one too. It's like very emotional and filled with feel. Um, Goes great into that chorus, the last couple choruses, because you know it can get probably a little grating on the ears because he says the same thing over and over. But when you got them solos behind it, just that fiery solo, oh man, it's killer.
It, it's that's a great way to say it. It doesn't bother you when you got those awesome guitars going on. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a classic track. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it to death. So, but man, Warriors. Oh my God, the last track on side one is just blows me out. I love Warriors. Oh my God. Talk about like awesome guitar stuff. I mean, and Brian Downey too. Like you said, I gotta keep mentioning Brian Downey. Like he's a great, like you said, totally overlooked, underrated drummer in rock and roll. You know,
Yeah, man.
you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah. Warriors, man. It's one of my personal favorites on the album. It's got that nice slow build up with the guitars playing like a blues kind of line, and
mhm.
Downey's fast hi hat, keeping the tempo, and Phil's doing like a gallop bass line here. I mean, that's pretty
Yes.
early on for that kind of. It's almost like a precursor to Maiden a little bit. Um, but yeah, and then that drum fill comes in, man, and it just like punches you in the face. It's just killer, man.
Oh,
Um, that twin lead guitar attack in full force. Great Phil lyrics. Like I wrote down some on this one. So fate will have to wait till time heals the scar. See, my heart is ruled by Venus and my head by Mars. Oh God, man, I love that. That's got that great wah wah, drenched solo with Robertson and Gorham both playing leads. Um, and then some great Brian Downey drum fills that goes in that last section of the song. Love the way this song ends too, man. That just really tightness, togetherness. You can tell this band was really gelling at this point. I mean, it's just fantastic. Yeah, it's
yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, you just nailed it. Like they're so tight on this song. Like it's just so tight. And it sounds like a live performance. It sounds like a live band playing, but they're just super tight. And those whole ding 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 boom bang ding 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 ding. I mean it's just like, oh my God. And then when I love when they do the whole like, and like you said, Downey's doing the triplets and it's just, and then they like when they do, like, for me one of my favorite parts of the song, it's just like this little thing, but they when they do the they like sometimes they do and then sometimes they just go and it's just like, oh, it's just so cool. They do that really short riff. Like I love it. And then and Phil's vocals on this where he's like, and he's everything's like echoing like I am the warrior, warrior, warrior. It's like just the whole thing. It's just like, man, this is a killer song. I just love Warriors to death. So good.
Oh
Kicking
yeah,
it up,
one of
man.
the best, man.
Kicking it up. So then we move, just flip it over to the big single, "Boys Are Back in Town," which again, I love. "Boys Are Back in Town." I've heard it, so this is another one I've heard a ton, and I still think it's really good. I still just think it's very, very good. What's your take on it?
Um, yeah, this one's like probably the band's biggest tune. Jumps right off the record. Some big guitar chords and a great shuffle beat on this, tune. Get a real jazz feel in this song with like C sharp minor seventh and B minor seventh chords all over the verses of this song. But you know, they really show the kind of contrast between heavier kind of styles and jazzier kind of styles because it's got that great unison guitar leads and stuff in this song. You know, some of Phil's best lyrics too. You know, talking about a group of friends getting together, hanging out at Dino's Bar and Grill.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I can't get enough. You know, about that twin lead. You know, break. Uh, Band really gave it their all in this tune, and it paid off. I mean, it got to number 12. Yeah, the single went platinum in the UK. So, yeah, it's a legendary tune for a reason. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those twin leads are just fantastic. I mean, and it's just so, uh, I mean, everybody was imitating that twin lead thing after this. Like, it just feels like they really were one of the purveyors of this and one of the first. And whenever you hear twin harmony leads, you're always like, ah, Thin Lizzy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they were the first to really perfect it, in my opinion. So love it. Love Boys Are Back in Town. And like you said, I love your classic for
Yeah.
a reason. A classic for a reason. Um, and I love, I always have to say, I love the whispering, the boys are back, the boys are back. I love that. That's so great. Awesome. Um, and then we move on to Fight or Fall, which is kind of like a mellow, sort of like the first kind of really mellow. I mean, Running Back's kind of mellow too, but this is sort of like a really kind of atmospheric mellow song. Yeah, what do you think of this one?
It's kind of an underlooked tune on side two, I said. Um, this is a great ballad from Phil, you know, talking about kind of building self confidence in oneself. You know, it's either fight or fall for us all. I mean, he kind of says it right in the title of the song.
Oh,
Great backing vocals in this song, too. You know, I like when that telling myself line like repeats overlapping, you know, up and down from each other.
yes.
um, yeah, yeah. It's got
Yeah.
some cool laid back guitar work in this tune. Really fits the vibe of the song. Yeah, I mean, it's not one of my favorites, but Phil could definitely. I think he really shows his vocal like technique and you know ability here
Hmm.
to the probably the best extent I would say on the album.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It shows
yeah,
his
it's a good tune.
yeah, shows his writing chops. Um, and I do like that it's sort of a little bit of a reprieve from the heavy rock, which is kind of nice. Um, and it kind of leads well into Cowboy Song because Cowboy Song starts out really mellow as well. Um, and it's funny because I remember thinking like when I first heard Cowboy Song, I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like, and it's like it's really grown on me a lot. Like I love the chorus of Cowboy Song. Um, so what do you think of Cowboy Song? You like that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of the tunes that started my love for Thin Lizzy is this song, man.
Yeah.
Song just gives the perfect setting in the intro with the almost like country, you know, clean guitar and Phil singing in a southern kind of draw way, you know, light harmonica behind them, you know, before that epic build up starts.
Yeah.
Um, just takes off in a real classic kind of boogie style before it returns that great guitar line from the beginning. Yeah, and I wrote some lyrics for this one. I mean, roll me over and turn me around. You know, let me keep spinning until I hit the ground. Roll me over and let me go, running free with the buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just classic, man. And it
Yeah.
goes right into that solo. I think Gorham and Robertson both get solos in this song. Yeah, it's just, and then it goes in that breakdown section, and get that softer tone before them leads kick in again. I think it's just perfect songwriting to me. Um, yeah, and like I said earlier, the lyrical themes and the music just match each other like nothing else in this band to me. Um, yeah, and it's got a great big ending with "Cowboy's life is the life for me," and he like cuts every time he says it. Which, when they did that live, it segued right into "The Boys Are Back in Town." So I always thought that was pretty awesome. But yeah, this is one of Thin Lizzy's best songs, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the slow build. Like you said, it kind of this that sort of slow build to the chorus. And then when it hits that roll me over, turn me around, it's like, oh yeah, like that's a great chorus. Yeah, so love it.
Oh yeah.
But but man, nothing can get you ready for Emerald. I mean, Emerald is like another just blows my mind. Um
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. Emerald's just man. I'm not gonna give it
What
away.
can
I'm
you
gonna let
say
you.
about it that hasn't already been said, man?
Yeah, what can you say, right? What can I say about Emerald? What do you I mean,
Oh,
what are your notes
oh,
say?
I'm gonna. Well, yeah, I got some notes here. But I listened to this at work today, man, and that ending just, oh, goosebumps all over me.
Totally,
So
totally.
yeah, I just this is one of this is probably my favorite Lizzy song, man.
Yeah,
Much like Warrior, Downey holds that 16th note hi hat groove before those great guitar lines come in. Phil starts singing of like a war. Uh, and I said one word to describe the guitar lines in this one to me is anthemic.
yeah,
You can sing along with it, and it works just as well as all the lyrics on this tune to me. It's so memorable that when you hear it once, you'll never forget how it goes. Um, Song is really Phil's embodiment of everything that was Ireland to him in my eyes. Yeah, Phil's bass playing very prominent in the last section too when he joins in on the lead break. But yeah, and those solos, man. Oh, I mean,
get
yeah,
out of town,
it
man.
can't be denied, man. Emerald is just it's one of the best hard rock songs of the '70s to
Yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
And I was going to mention,
Yeah,
I love how it ends, kind of like how Jailbreak started with that big, just final chord, man. It just fades out. So it's kind of like the record kind of bookends itself a little bit.
oh, that's cool. I never really thought of that. That's kind of
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, you're right. It's
yeah,
kind of like the wall when the
yeah.
what the wall starts with the thing and you're like, what's
Right.
happening? It ends with the same thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
um but yeah, very cool. So wow. Yeah, Emerald. I mean, it's fantastic. I just can't I don't really have many words for it. It's just so the ensemble, the ensemble playing, it's like hard rock jam. Um hence, Emerald's a good name for it because it's such a gem. Um
Yep.
I love it. Love it to death. So, okay, so that's Jailbreak and then let's move on to the next record which is Johnny the Fox. Johnny the Fox.
Meets
Give me
Jimmy
the
the
weed.
Weed.
Um
Hey, man, I know your name.
that's right. That's right. Um but yeah, so Johnny the Fox was a seventh studio record, of course, released October 76 on Vertigo. Um Recorded August 76 at Rampart Studio again. I think they tried another studio, but it didn't work out, and they had to move back
Yep.
to the
They
Rampart.
went to Music Land in Germany. They tried,
Yeah,
but I guess
couldn't.
something wasn't happening with engineers there, and so
Yeah,
they just
couldn't
went back.
couldn't get a good drum sound or something, something like that. They weren't happy with the sounds they were getting, so they
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
back, came back to Rappaport Studio in London, with John Alcock, and it got to number 11 on the UK charts. It didn't really make much of a dent in the US at all. Hence, I was kind of not familiar with this record. It's funny, it took me a while, until I dug in. Um, so yeah, but man, this is a kind of a forgotten gem. As speaking of gems, this is an album that you just I shouldn't say forgotten. I think that the fans love it, but but I think that the general average Joe, probably doesn't know this record very well. They might know
Yeah.
"Don't Believe a Word," and that's about it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but man, it seems like it could have been like we'll jump into the tracks, but it seems like it started as almost like it kind of feels like it started as like a concept album almost, and then like maybe halfway. This seems to happen to a lot of bands where it's almost like you feel like it could be like a concept, but then there's songs you're like, oh, this doesn't feel like a concept. So it's like, at some point maybe they're getting pressure to like finish the record, and they're like, all right, forget, we'll just do these songs that we have or whatever. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so yeah. But what do you think of Johnny? I mean, uh,
No.
starts out with Johnny, which is
Man, man, this one.
yeah,
Yeah, it kicks off with one of my favorite Lizzy songs ever, man.
yeah,
Great guitar riff with some great high notes in the background before the song breaks into the verse. I love the lyrics on this song, man. This is probably like one of my favorite lyrics like ever wrote down. This song, telling the story of a guy named Johnny went down the wrong path in life. Think he's trying to steal some drugs from a counter store or something, and he shoots the clerk by accident,
right,
and the cops, try and come and get him at the end. And the great lyric at the end is, 5-1, he gets away. That's the odds I'm going to give. 5-4, they blast him away. 3-1, he's going to live.
yeah.
Man, that's tough.
That's great
Oh,
stuff, though. That's his great lyrics. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Phil's one of the best, man. But yeah, well, like I said about the lyrics, I can just picture every single line in my head in the song like a movie. Every time I listen to the song, you
yeah,
know, and he goes back to this line. It's all right to lose your heart, but never lose your head, which I always thought that was a killer line, man.
yeah. That's another great line. Absolutely. Yeah,
There's so many good lines in this song.
yeah.
But yeah, I love the solo too. Great wah wah guitar solos, and some string arrangements too. Towards the end of it.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, it's just and I didn't even mention Brian Downey, man, in that chorus. Oh,
Oh
what
God.
Brian does in that chorus line. Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just one of my favorite Lizzy songs, man. I love it.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a amazing way to kick the record off. And like you said, I couldn't agree. I think you just nailed it when you said it's kind of like a movie in your head when you're listening to it. And it's funny. I was going to say this little bit about Jailbreak, but it feels like it pertains more to this album. Is I'm a pretty big Springsteen guy, and there's a lot of like the first three Springsteen albums or three or four albums. It's almost like, geez, he must have been like a little bit in, because it seems Springsteen-esque at times.
I always heard that he was into Springsteen, and the lead singer from UFO was as well, Phil Mogg. So they kind of you listen to UFO's lyrics, it kind of has that Springsteen vibe too at times too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, like
yeah,
Jungle Land or you know, or
definitely.
things
Or
like
Fourth of
that.
July, Asbury Park, or
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly, exactly. Yep, yep.
yeah,
Just those first three records, I think that were probably pretty somewhat influential on his lyric writing, at least. Um,
yeah.
so, but Johnny, we go right into Rocky, which is kind of like, a guy wants to be a rock star.
I I read on this one too that Brian Robertson says that he thinks Phil wrote this about him. So that kind of leads into further into the little bit of maybe he's got a little bit of ego, kind of cocky
Yeah,
Rocky, the rock and roll star.
exactly, exactly.
Oh man,
I never heard
yeah,
that. That's interesting. I didn't know that. So there you go.
yep, yeah. I just love the riffs in this song. It's really like the guitars and the vocals just go hand in hand in this one. Some great unison guitar lines in this one too, and that break after he says "away he rips" or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and it's just great Robertson solo. It's got a heavy riff behind it, doubled up on bass. Just adds another layer to this track. I love the ending too, with that that heavy riff being played over and over until the fade, and then at the very end it just keeps playing that dan out, just like till infinity, man. Yeah, I mean it's awesome. There is some footage on YouTube. I think they're syncing to it. I don't think it's actually live, but it's at the Hammersmith Odeon
Mhm.
for broadcast on Old Gray Whistle Test, and it's pretty cool seeing footage because there's not a lot of. You can find a couple things from this album, but there's not a lot of footage of Lizzy playing these songs live, which is kind of weird, but you know, I guess it is what it is. But yeah,
Yeah.
this one's another one of my favorites, man.
Yeah. Well, good,
Rocky.
great 1-2 punch right out of the gate, right?
Oh yeah,
you know? And then we move into Borderline, which is kind of more of like a mid-tempo-ish kind of song. But I really enjoy
yeah,
Borderline. I really like it. I love again, it's like
yeah.
sort of that fill that line out writing again. What's your take on Borderline?
Yeah, this one was co-written with Brian Robertson, and yeah, I think it's a stunner of a song, man.
Mhm.
Gives off that like late night feeling, loneliness, kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like a song you'd play at 2 a.m. to me.
Right, right.
But yeah, the acoustics blend in nicely with all the other instruments on this tune, especially in the intro. You know, just harmonic and beautifully placed in the mix of the song. Um, Solo is very well done in this one, very emotional, filled with dramatics. Um, and there's three really good kind of type ballads on this album. I think they're all probably some of Lizzy's best kind of love songs like that. Um, but this one is probably my favorite on the record. Um,
Yeah,
Anthem for the Broken Hearted is what I finished my notes off with. So
yeah,
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 it's a
yeah,
killer, man.
yeah, yeah.
Different from the opening two songs, but just as good.
But still killer. Yeah, exactly. So
Shows
no,
that diversity, man.
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what this album really has a lot of diversity in it. That's the thing
Yep.
I would say, is really good about it. It's, as soon as you think you're rocking out, all of a sudden you get like a tender ballad. You're like, "What just happened?" You know? Um,
Yep.
so yeah, so first we're 3 for 3 so far, so now we're into the single "Don't Believe a Word," which I think is another great single. I really it sticks in my head that those riffs, those ding down, ding, 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 and it feels like a song that could have been on Jailbreak. Um,
Oh yeah.
what do you think about the single? What do you like?
Yeah, like you said, it's the biggest tune on the album. Song is like a blues shuffle, bristling with energy is what I wrote down. Still some great lines. I'm gonna dive into the line poetry book again.
Yeah,
Don't believe a word, for words are so easily spoken, and your heart is just like that promise made to be broken. I just love,
that's
I
good.
love his line, man.
Genius. Yeah.
But yeah, and that goes right into that killer wah wah guitar solo on this one. Um, then it goes back into the bluesy guitar structure. It's one of Lizzy's classic tunes. I want to mention too, this song was originally like a 12 bar blues. That's the way Phil brought it to the band. But Robertson, of course, um, said it was kind of, so so. And I guess Phil didn't like that too much, so he kind of disappeared for a couple days. And him and Downey, Robertson and Downey, kind of rewrote the song and made it what it is on the record. So, and then Phil came back and he liked the structure of it, the songwriting structure. But they did play the blues version of it a couple times. On Gary Moore's first album, they do a bluesier version of it,
Oh,
um,
okay.
which
Alright.
there's video of that on YouTube too. And on their last live album, it's called Life. It's kind of in that bluesier structure too,
Oh,
which is
interesting.
good too. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this version, man, it's energetic. I mean, it's
This
hard to beat.
this is the amped up version. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I enjoy it quite a bit. I think it's kinda classic Thin Lizzy. And then we head into the end of the first
Yeah.
side, Fool's Gold, which kind of starts out with like this spoken word thing. It's talking
Yeah.
about isn't he talking about like Irish people looking for
Yep.
salvation in the United States or something like that?
Yep. Yep. I said it was inspired by the Great Famine of Ireland from 1845 to 1852. Yeah, a lot of Irish people moved to America. I think it was a potato famine. I believe that's what it was.
All right.
So it's kind of hard for food and everything. So, and all the verses kind of talk of the struggle some of the people had searching for, you know, their gold. I always thought it was like metaphoric kind of gold, whatever their dreams are, kind of, you know.
Right, right.
Um, yeah, and it's kind of upbeat and joyful, the music, but like it's kind of a tinge of sadness in the music, kind of a little bit, playing on that feeling of almost finding gold, but you don't find it. Um, Great longer solo in here than usual on this track. Kind of has like an Irish feel at the start, like the lines they're playing.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah, it's a good closer for side one. And the only thing I wanted to mention about the verses here, there's one verse. Do you have the sleeve, Tom, that comes with it?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So this is probably one of my favorite line verses, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. So I don't understand. It's not like about people. It's like about a circus act.
mhm,
Yep. It's like the vulture sits on top of the big top circus arena. He's seen this show before. He knows someone's going to fall. Just near the part where the beautiful dancing tightrope ballerina forgets the safety net isn't there at all. Down he swoops and claws down to take her, razor sharp, so savage is she mauled. Oh my God, is there no one there to save her? In steps the fox to thunderous applause. And then it goes back into that chorus, man. It's
yeah,
like that's kind of an oddball. Phil must have liked it, man, because it's right there on the on the sleeve.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean that's kind of the one verse that has like nothing to do with any
yeah,
of the other stuff. But I
right.
always love that. I always love that verse, man.
That is cool, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
He
Awesome.
must have loved it if he put it on the inner sleeve, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great closer to side one.
Yeah, no, I agree, I love your comment about how it almost has, like, this sort of sadness to it. I kinda feel
Yep.
that too when you hear it, and that whole the way he sings the "Fool's Gold," it just has that
Yep.
like, I don't know, it's just the way he sings it, it's pretty cool, like it. It's, again, another kind of mood, you know what I mean? It's another different kind of a mood. Um,
Yeah.
and then they switch we turn the album over, and it's, like, another big switch and almost into, like, funk, with, as we did earlier,
Yep.
John Fox, that did it down, and it's, like, very funky.
Oh yeah.
I think they said he was sort of influenced by the OJs, and
Yes.
he used to
Yep.
jam for the love of money or something in sound checks
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and Brian Downey kind of joined in on the bass or on the drums, and they kind of made this song up from that kind of.
yeah.
Um,
I love
yeah.
it. I think it's great. They really pull it off. They really pull.
Oh man, yeah. Well, and the good thing about it too, man, is that this album is so diverse, and the catalog is really so diverse. They never really do a song like this again.
No,
So like,
that's true.
you
That's
know
true.
what I mean? This is like
Yeah,
the outlier there, but oh man, yeah, it's a killer. I wrote down it's Gorham says it's based on two real people that I guess lived by Lynot's mother's apartments, and they weren't drug dealers. I guess they were just like gang people, like affiliated kind of people. But yeah, I guess they liked them because they were kind of fond of them. They were funny to the band members, and they kind of wrote this tune about them. And like I've said, ad nauseum, I guess at this point, the guitars and Phil's lyrics just go hand in hand. Like you
yeah,
were saying, that riff, man, and then he sings, and then that riff comes back.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just great solos in this tune. And like I just said, makes me wish the band would have tackled another song in this vein, but it makes this song unique in the catalog, and that's cool with me.
mhm,
Um, oh, and I want to mention, I thought this was funny. Gorham also noted that Phil liked to use the name Johnny in a lot of tunes. There's a song called Showdown in Nightlife. He talks about Johnny, and the boys are back in town. Johnny is the guy the chick slaps in the face. So,
oh, that's right.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Gorham said he should have been his PR man, fictional Johnny.
He goes back to Johnny all the time. It's
Yeah.
like the Outsiders. Let's do it for Johnny, man. With Johnny, do it for Johnny.
Yep.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. No, no. I'm with you. It's like I had the same thought. I'm like, why didn't they ever explore this? Like, why didn't they do another song like this, like kind of a groove tune or funky song? Like they
Yeah.
just did it so well.
Because
Um,
there's a like nightlife, they're kind of doing an R&B style on that album. So
right, right.
they could have done a little, maybe done it again later, but
Yeah, maybe like
maybe
one
Phil
other.
moved on from writing like that from that
Yeah, just
point.
one other song, just one. I'm just asking for one. You know. Uh, but man, I love how this side kicks off with this funky track. I love it. And then it goes into Old Flame, which is a really kind of a tender ballad again. And
Yes.
this I don't know, something gets me on this track. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I love that he you know, Phil writes about all these rough street characters and get like you were saying, thugs and gang members and drug dealers and people getting in fights in bars, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I miss my old flame." It's like it's like he's not afraid to like show his heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway,
I
what
mean,
do you
this is
think? What do you think of this?
just a great love song from Phil, I think. Kind of puts me in the mind of what he was going to do in his solo albums from the 80s. Kind of does some stuff like this, Dear Miss Lonely Hearts and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, great vocals in the chorus of this song, which I think Phil is doing all that. It sounds like it's just him overdubbed a bunch
Yeah, I
of
think
times.
so. Yeah, yeah,
Great unison lead lines on this one right off the bat, man. Like right when they start singing and stuff. Yeah, just kind of lost love, like you were saying. Uh, Solo in this one is very emotive. You feel every note the guy's playing this one. Um, yeah, it's just another solid kind of ballad. Like I said, I think all three of the ballads on this album are probably some of Phil's best, man. Everything about
yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, and then you go from Old Flame to Massacre, which is like
it.
it's almost like Emerald Part Two.
Oh, exactly, Tom. I wrote down the same thing, man. I've always thought that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just absolute killer hard rock. So yeah,
Oh,
what's your take? What do you think? I mean, is this one of your faves?
oh yeah. I mean, I said it's the album's answer to Emerald.
Yeah.
Got some great unison guitar and bass at the start, and Downey killing it again on the drums, man. On this one, just like
Yes,
the
Downey.
heavy tom fills too on this one, man.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, just like Emerald, this one's written about war, kind of religion in there too, a little bit. Um, Kind of Phil pondering why these sorts of war and stuff like that happens in our lives. Um, Love how the guitar chords just hang and let Phil give a great vocal from the heart in the verses. Yeah, some great guitar dueling in this tune with Gorham and Robinson really showing off their greatness before that drum break and that last great verse in this song, which pretty much sums up the song. So there's a point below zero when where the sun it can see the land. 600 unknown heroes lie dead in the sand. I mean,
yeah,
and this guy was just singing about his ex girlfriend.
yeah, yes, yes.
I mean, oh man,
Talk about a 180 within the next song. You know?
yeah, yep. That we're going back to diversity, man. Total switch, and they're
Yeah,
both killer songs, you know.
they are. They are. Yeah, and then we
Yeah,
go to Sweet Marie, which is another like sweet ballad. Like it's another. I mean, after this awesome rock song, it just hits you over the head. You go back to yeah, Sweet Marie, Sweet Marie. I love how it repeats. He
yep,
sings it so well. I love his vocal on this. It's so like from the heart. I love it.
yeah, man.
Oh,
Um, yeah, I always thought of this song kind of the answer to Borderline on side one. Gorham helped Phil write this one, unlike Robertson helped Phil write Borderline. So I don't know if they're all having like girl issues around this time or
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
must have been something because Phil wrote Old Flame by himself. So
Yes. Yes.
he's like, I can't have these two guys one upping me.
Right. Right.
But yeah, some great string and horn arrangements in this tune, really too as well. Really adds something special to the song. Makes the song even more heartbreaking to listen to, is what I wrote down. Um, yeah, I just think I love how the chorus kind of gets a little heavy with the guitars when he's talking about his home isn't where his heart is and all that stuff.
Right.
It's
Right.
just yeah, very emotional. But
Yeah.
yeah, Phil could do it, man. I mean,
Yeah. It's like pulling on your heartstrings a little bit of this track for me.
yeah, it's a
You
great
know.
song, man.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And then we head into the closer, which is Boogie Woogie Dance, which, you know, I mean, it's kind of a controversial song because I think Phil ultimately said he was not that psyched about it later. But I think the music is absolutely killer. You know, the
Yep.
music is killer. I mean, the lyrics kind of sound a little bit tossed off for Phil. I mean, we're going high level Phil. Both
Yeah.
lyrics, the lyric writing as we've been talking about is very high level. This one seems like it was kind of thrown together quickly.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of rhyming every like country with something. Like in France, they have a
France,
dance.
they dance. Yeah, yeah,
Brazil, they have a pill. You know, it's like
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know about all that.
I don't know. He was so. I don't think he was too proud of those lyrics later. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but man, I mean, them. Yeah, like you said, musically, I mean, this song's just a killer. It could have been instrumental. you know.
Yeah. I mean, it could.
Um,
Like, it literally, you're right. They could have just kept it instrumental. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
great call.
yeah. I read too. John Elcock wasn't too happy with this tune. He thought
Yeah.
maybe they could have done something better, but you know, you got to admit, man, making this album and Jailbreak in like 7 months between each other, like
You.
I'll take this. It's okay.
Yeah. No, seriously, I was thinking this. I had the same exact thought, Logan. It's like give the guys a break. These are two records in 1 year. Like you said,
Oh
seven
yeah,
months. 7 months. You're right. It's a very
yeah.
short time.
I
Yeah.
wanted to mention too. I forgot to mention when you were doing the background of this one. Phil had hepatitis on
Right.
the Jailbreak tour,
Yes.
so he
Right.
wrote all these songs while he was in the hospital. It's
Yes.
like what?
Yes. It's like the guy while I mean, yeah, exactly. He's writing songs in a hospital bed. So
Crazy man.
pretty unbelievable. I mean, actually, I mean, the only other thing example I can think of is when Neil Young said he wrote Cowgirl in the Sand and some other song while he was had 104 fever in bed or something. But like, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they get inspired and they're just sitting there looking
Yeah,
at the screen. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Because I read all Phil had was an acoustic guitar, so he's
Yeah.
just jamming away, man, making these songs. But I want to mention another Downy kind of song. There's one called "Sha La La" off Nightlife, which
Hmm.
kind of goes into a drum break. It was the big drum solo song live, too. Which I think this one kind of sounds like it could have went into a drum solo too. It sounds like Downey's just soloing all the way throughout this song to me. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's a great ender though. I think it works. Yeah, I mean the lyrics aren't they are what they are, but yeah,
Right.
musically, man, wow,
Yeah,
smoke.
I got no problems musically at all with it. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. Like you said, I never thought of that. It's almost like could have been an instrumental, or you could have just done away with the verses and just gone boogie woogie dance. Like I don't know, just forget the verse.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but that I would have been fine with that. But anyway, but I will say, just overall though, still a very strong record. Um,
Oh yeah.
you know, we're nitpicking about the last song on the record. It's really
And Tom, that's like the only song we said anything kind of negative about on any of
exactly,
these albums.
exactly, exactly. So there you go, right? So so yeah, two classics, and like you said, in the same year, within 7 months. That's just insane. And
You're
this
gonna
is
make me pick one?
yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
yeah. This is the point in the show. It's painful, painful. But I would say a lot of Thin Lizzy records could be in the mix of like trying to. I mean, it'd be so hard to pick.
Oh yeah. No, I don't think they really made a bad album.
Yeah,
All of them are consistent, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
To
So
me.
so what if with I'll try to make it easy on you and say, okay, what album is it this week? That's what we always end up saying. Oh, today
Yeah,
it's
because
this.
yeah, that's how I am with like certain artists like Queen and stuff. I'm always like, well, this is my favorite because I listened to it last.
Yes, exactly.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess for tonight I'll go with Johnny the Fox.
All right. Okay.
Will be my pick. Just love the diversity, man. Like we were talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
No knock against Jailbreak because
Yes.
Jailbreak's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And I say this a lot, and people probably think like, Curlis, you're such a cop out. But I do a lot. A lot of times I'll say you can't lose. So it's true. I mean, we're picking one, but really you can't lose between these two, which is true. So I'm gonna go Jailbreak. So there you go. For me, it's just what pushes it slightly over the edge is I always call it like the four corners of the record: Jailbreak, Warriors, Boys Are Back in Town, Emerald. Like those to me are just like whoosh.
hard to beat, man. Yeah.
That's really hard. Like all of those songs are just so killer for me.
I wish
Um,
I could. I wish I could tell you what album I got into first. Maybe I heard Johnny the Fox all the way through before Jailbreak, which would
yeah,
be kind of weird. But
but
yeah,
but this album doesn't have. I picked this tonight, but this one I will say doesn't have, like you said, the scope and diversity of Johnny the Fox. Like if you're in a
yeah,
certain type of mood, this is almost like a, like a rock opera for the closest that they got. Thin Lizzy got to that of like a theme record or something,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Um, and I love a lot of the drama and the lyrics and everything, And but
I think
you
I
know,
think that's kind of what pushes it for me. I mean, I love Emerald Man, but
mm,
just like Johnny and Rocky and all them lyrics in them songs, it's
yeah.
hard to beat for me.
You can't lose, man. You cannot lose. I'm going to go back to the you can't lose argument because you really can't. These both out. If you're not familiar with any of with these records, or then you need to go rectify that ASAP,
Get familiar, people.
immediately. Like not like now. Like go on
Yeah,
Amazon.
turn us off. Don't even let us stop talking. Go
Yes.
listen to it.
Cut the video off, just go. Like it's okay. Yeah, no, go on Discogs or whatever, go to your record store, whatever, pick them up. Because they're both fantastic. And you can't also, I mean, Bad Reputation, Black Rose,
Chinatown.
Chinatown. I mean, come on. Chinatown for me is like a sleeper. Like that's like an album
Oh,
that I really like a lot and that nobody talks about,
you
you
ever
know.
want to do a video about that one, Tom? I'm your guy.
Yeah, well, let's do that. Maybe we'll do that next. Maybe we'll continue our Thin Lizzy discussions. I think that's what we're gonna do
Oh,
because we're getting all excited here. Um,
oh.
yeah. But Logan, thanks again. Really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for letting me be on again, Tom. I
yeah,
appreciate you letting me come on.
yeah, absolutely, man. You bring it. You always bring it. So and I can tell your passion for Thin Lizzy comes through, which is awesome. I love it. I love that you really dig into the lyrics and that I love it. It's great. So thanks again, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're you must be a Thin Lizzy fan if you watched this long. So we appreciate you. And what you
But
got there? You got one other
but I got Phil. Seen that when I was
Awesome.
on vacation, man. I had to get it.
Where did you get that? Where did you get it?
Is I was in Kentucky. It was in like a FYE. You ever heard of them stores?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I seen him hanging up, man. I was like, yeah, worth it.
Gotta have it. Gotta have it.
So he hangs up on my music wall now.
That's awesome. That's a great way to end the episode. That's perfect. Like that's amazing. That's how much of a fan he is, right, people? If you doubted his authenticity, there it is.
Top 10 band, man. Have to be.
Right. Bill Lynott on his wall. Um, yes. So anyway, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. And of course, give it a like, give it a subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button. A lot of people don't do that. They just go, yeah, that's a cool video, and they don't hit subscribe. Hit subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps everybody. I will put a link to Logan's channel as well below, the Slogans channel. And
Yep.
so because check out his channel, he's got a lot of awesome content as well, and he's going to be
Yeah.
doing some Cinderella soon, right? Yep. Cinderella and Tom
Yep.
Kiefer.
Yep.
So check
Yeah.
it
We're
out.
covering Tom Kiefer. We got some band interviews too coming up, and yeah, all kinds of fun stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Slogans Rock and Metal Extravaganza.
There it is. There it is. It'll be below. Link will be below. So check it out. And thanks again, everybody. Appreciate it. And we will see you next time on Curless Mania. See ya. Johnny the Fox.